You're watching for Jaspo TV, Lakewood, Florida, in the USA. Wapgadikata Jaspo TV, Lakewood, Florida, aux États-Unis.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Emmanuel Morel Show. Today it is a pleasure for me to have someone else with me who's currently running for Sheriff of Palm Beach County. This is a huge county, but this gentleman has been down this road before. He is equipped to do the job. I met him some years ago. This is his second run for Palm Beach County Sheriff. It is a pleasure for me to have Major Alex Freeman to be with us today. Mr. Freeman, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, and thank you for having me here today. Really appreciate this.
I'd like you to go ahead and give an introduction to the folks as to who you are, where you're from,
Absolutely.
where you've worked. What is it that you wish to accomplish?
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for this opportunity. My name is Alex Freeman. I'm a retired police major from the city of Riviera Beach. I was very, very fortunate to serve 22 years of service prior to my retirement in 2015. I rose through the ranks, becoming third in command of the police department, managing the operation of investigations as well as road patrol and administrative duties. Oversaw a budget of $10 million. And so in 2013, I decided that I was going to run for Palm Beach County Sheriff. So I started my campaign August 5th of 2013, and I campaigned for 3.5 years to become the next sheriff of Palm Beach County. Unfortunately, I lost, but I came in second place with the second highest number of votes to be the next sheriff of this county. When I lost, 3 days later, I filed to run again for the 2020 election. And being that I'm fortunate to be retired, I was able to continue on campaigning to become sheriff of Palm Beach County for 2020. So as of today, I've been campaigning non-stop for 6 years to serve the people of Palm Beach County as your next sheriff.
Awesome. Now, what is it? Why do you want to be sheriff? What is it that made you, because it is a big job. You'll be supervising a huge agency, huge department, lots of employees, and everybody's always gunning for you.
Absolutely. Well, what I intend to bring to the Palm Beach County Sheriff Office, when we talk about transparency, accountability, and acceptability, you're going to hear a lot of candidates and elected officials talk about transparency, accountability, and accessibility. But what does that really mean to them, as a candidate? Do they really mean what they're saying? I would tell you this, as the next sheriff of this county, I'm going to demand that you and others, people here in Palm Beach County, hold me accountable to providing quality law enforcement services to the people of this county as well as our visitors. And when it comes to being transparent, we're going to be transparent about everything that we do. We're not going to hide anything, we're going to be accountable, and we're most definitely going to be accessible to the voters and the people of Palm Beach County who placed me in office. And I understand as a candidate who's seeking and asking for your support as well as many others, that I work at the pleasure of the voters, not the governor of the state, at the pleasure of the voters, and I will serve as your employee. So I understand that, and I'm not naive to think and believe, but that I'm going to get voted in by not asking for the people of Palm Beach County vote. So I'm here to ask for the vote of the people of Palm Beach County. And one of the things that I want to do, well, there's a number of things that I want to do. But when you look at the sheriff office administrative staff, if anyone could go on his on the web page and look at his website, and you'll see his administration are everyone that looks just like him. There is no diversity in his administration. So as the next sheriff, we want to bring about diversity, in the sheriff office, but not just in the sheriff office, but as well as the communities that we serve. You know, I had a talk, a meeting a couple of days ago with Dr. Bishop, Reverend Dr. Matthew Baptiste at my office. Right. And in our discussion, I made a pledge to him, and I make a pledge to you all as well, that once I am the sheriff, you know, I want to create a citizens advisory board that is made up of Haitian Americans throughout Palm Beach County that would assist me and advise me on the issues and the concerns that are plaguing the Haitian community. You know, I am also interested in placing someone in one of my administrative offices from the Haitian community. You know, if you know of anyone, if anyone out there that know of anyone from the Haitian community that has the skill set, the intelligence and the knowledge to serve as a major of the sheriff office or a captain in the sheriff office in my top administration, so that the Haitian Haitian community can have someone that they can reach out to and share their concerns. Although I'm going to be the liaison between every community, but there'll also be someone else there from your community that the Haitian community can feel comfortable in going to and knowing that their concerns will be addressed.
Now, I always go straight for the elephant in the room. And in Palm Beach County, it is the fact that black folks are pretty much left out. You just touched on it as far as the administration of the current sheriff. Yes. We definitely need to have diversity, as you've stated. What positions, or is it too top heavy? Is the current sheriff office too top heavy? And if it is, what would you do, and how do blacks and Hispanics come in?
You know, in looking at the administration right now, you know, one would say, yeah, it could be too top heavy. But what we have to do going in during the transition period, we're going to administer a forensic examination of the budget, line item by line item, to determine what program serves as a benefit to the people of Palm Beach County as well as our visitors. And we're going to look at those positions to make sure that those that are in those positions are qualified to have those positions, and they're not there based on just the buddy system, the good old boy system, you know. And but most definitely, we're definitely going to diversify that administration. You know, there's no way that any law enforcement practitioner or law enforcement agency could effectively police a community if they don't know the makeup and understand the makeup of the communities. So we have to have officers and managers in place that understand the diversity of the many cultures that we have in this community, so that we can service them and provide quality law enforcement services, and so that everybody have inclusion and everybody feel that they're not left out.
This morning's or yesterday's paper, right? There was an article about a guy who was mentally ill.
Yes.
Shot by a sheriff deputy, and now it's going to go to court.
Yes.
One thing that I don't get is every time someone gets shot, it doesn't matter what color that person is. The current sheriff Bradshaw always says this, without having looked at the situation, no investigation, that the officer, the deputy, is always correct. How does that? I never understand that.
You know, and just to piggyback on what you just said, you know, if you look at the history of Sheriff Bradshaw, just about every shooting that has occurred in the sheriff office of shooting someone, whether they killed them or injured someone, he always ushers himself to the scene 45 minutes to an hour after the shooting occurs. He's on television justifying the deputy involved shooting. Now, as a former investigator and a commander that commanded the investigation section, you know, if this was a homicide in this room And here at this table, you see you got these two green glasses and this microphone here. And let's just say there was just two bodies here. And it was blood everywhere. Well, as an investigator, a trained investigator may look at the scene and have a great idea as to what happened. But you still have to take these cups, this microphone, this table, and everything back to the crime lab to conduct DNA analysis, just to make sure that your assessment and conclusion are actually factual before you put it out there that it's a justifiable shooting. You know, you're not going to find any other sheriff in any other county or any police chief that will go to a scene and justify the shooting just
on the scene.
Yeah, just minutes after it happened. You know, and as a result of that, if Palm Beach County is paying close attention, as a result of that, the majority of the shootings that his deputies have been involved in has come back to hunt him, and it has been determined that they were unjustifiable shootings. But because the state attorney didn't move forward in prosecuting these individuals or clear them, you know, so therefore you can't do jeopardy and go back and charge them. So now it rises to the level of a federal lawsuit, and that is where this case that you're talking about, particular among others, are heading now. You know, the courts have cleared the way for this to go to a federal jury to make a decision on this deputy-involved shooting of someone that was suffering from mental disorders,
schizophrenia to be exact.
And that takes me to this. You know, Sheriff Bradshaw is always saying that the sheriff office is leading the way. You know, if he was truly leading the way, then he would make sure that those deputies, his deputies, are trained in the area of mental health. You know, so that when they go out and they engage folks suffering from mental disorders, they have a greater understanding as to what they're dealing with, as opposed to resorting to going to their firearm and unfortunately shooting these folks and killing them.
Now, there's another case. A young black kid in Boynton, I believe, was shot in the back, severed his spine, and a jury found for that kid. A federal jury found for that kid, and I think they awarded him $21 million, something like that.
Actually, it was $22.4 million.
Okay.
I know the case very well, and I know the family. It was Dontrell Stevens.
Dontrell Stevens. You know? Now, Sheriff Bradshaw is blocking him receiving the money. Why?
You know,
and it must be said it's a black kid.
Yeah. And it is unfortunate that Sheriff Bradshaw initially took the position when Mr. Stevens won that verdict against the sheriff office and himself, the $22.4 million. So when he won when he won the lawsuit, of course the sheriff said that he wouldn't get a dime of that money as long as he's the sheriff. But as a recent, I guess about a year ago, if not less than a year, Sheriff Bradshaw, under state law, paid him the $200,000 that government municipalities are required to by law to pay. But he's still trying to block the actions of Congress and the Senate, and moving forward and paying Mr. Stevens the $22.4 million that this kid deserves. You know, this kid was riding his bicycle.
Right.
You know, got off the bicycle.
Right.
He had a cell phone in his hand. You know, and the deputy shot him in the back.
Right.
You know, and I'm sick and tired, and everyone should be sick and tired of these law enforcement officers that say, "I thought he had a gun." I'm so sick and tired of that. You know, so your life, my life, and other folks' life who have been shot by law enforcement, not just here in Palm Beach County,
correct,
but across the world, who has been shot by law enforcement, and their excuse was, "I thought he had a gun." That's just not going to cut it. If you're that afraid, then you shouldn't be wearing the badge.
Yeah, I have a friend who was a deputy in Miami-Dade, and I'm talking early 80s. He told me, if you ever get shot by a police, even if you don't have a gun, they're gonna put one on you. They're gonna put one on you. And I've always kept that in the back of my head. And we know that I was just reading just yesterday about another kid that this one happened in New York, in the Bronx, where they actually put a gun in his hands.
Right.
And now this thing is going to trial as well. So Palm Beach County, what I don't understand, I always feel that this place is so far behind when it comes to communications between the sheriff and black folks.
Absolutely.
I've always felt we are so far behind. Now, if I understand correctly, you have filed to run as a Democrat.
Yes.
Someone else has, Mr. Diaz has filed to run as a Republican.
Yes.
And Sheriff Bradshaw has decided not to file as a Democrat or as a Republican.
That's correct.
So he's going NPA.
That's correct.
No party affiliation.
That's
So that means the Democratic Party now, they have to support you because they say they will support Democrats.
That's right. That's right. And I'm hoping that the leadership at the Democratic Party see that and realize that and do just that. You know, in running as a Democrat, you know, prior to Friday, you know, the sheriff election was a non-party race.
Right.
That means that when you receive your ballot during previous times, that the candidates that was running for sheriff, you wouldn't see a D or R or I by their name because the race is a non-party race. That means everyone could vote for the sheriff. You know, and I've been a Democrat for the last 34 years of my life. You know, I was raised into this. My mom said to me that when you go register for the military, you're going to register as a Democrat. You know, and so at 19 years of age, you know, you're not paying attention, or at least I wasn't paying attention to a party affiliation, you know. So I'm a Democrat, you know, and I'm the only Democrat that is in this race that didn't switch my party.
Correct.
You know, Sheriff Bradshaw, initially when he ran for sheriff in 2004,
correct,
he was a Republican, but he changed to a Democrat.
So he could win.
Because he could win, because Palm Beach County is a Democratic county.
Correct.
You know, Diaz, who's in the race, he was a Republican prior to getting into this race. July of last year, he was a Republican, but he changed to Democrat. And then he changed to Independent. Now, as of Friday, he changed back to Republican. So, you know, you have these folks getting in these races. They're not true to their party, you know. Right. And as the sheriff, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, Republican, or Independent. The sheriff have to do what is consistent with the law, not what is consistent with party. That means if I'm a Democrat and you're a Republican, I'm going to tell the dispatcher, no, don't dispatch that call because he's a Republican, or we're not going to provide service to him because he's a Republican. No, you know, we have to be biased, you know, and so it shouldn't matter what your party affiliation when it comes to doing what's right by everyone and representing everyone in Palm Beach County and our visitors. You know, I want to go quickly back to the lawsuits. You know, just about a week or so ago, I placed on Facebook and social media, you know, all the lawsuits that I was able to identify and the dollar amount that the sheriff office has settled to this day.
How much?
It's $11,626,000.
11 million?
11 million. That is what I can actually find on social media today. But there are some additional lawsuits, some racial discrimination lawsuits within the sheriff office and outside of the sheriff office that they have settled at an undisclosed amount, you know. And then you have the Daytron Stevens case we talked about, which is $22.4 million.
Right.
So when you look at the $11 billion that's been settled and the 24-something million that is to be settled, that is roughly about $35 million of taxpayer dollars. Now, that does not include the undisclosed lawsuits that some of the employees there at the sheriff office have filed and settled with the sheriff office. Right. And I know some that have settled for over $500,000. you know, in the sheriff office.
Right.
You know, so and then you look at those that are
Are those EEO complaints, equal employment?
absolutely
Equal employment.
absolutely. Now this recent lawsuit that just came out yesterday we just talked about the mental case. You know, that's going to a federal jury.
Correct.
A federal jury.
Correct.
You know, so that, you know, that's going to be millions just to run that trial.
Right.
You know, but what if they give this young man
Their family.
millions of dollars, and it's going to rest on the backs of taxpayers. You know, because this sheriff is failing to be fiscally responsible for the taxpayer dollars, and the reason why he doesn't because it's not his money. You know, but he comes across like he's this tough guy. You know, and coming across tough is not the answer.
Right.
You know, sounding tough and being bad, that's not the answer.
Yeah, you don't have to go agree with what I'm about to say, but I always say what must be said. You have a tough race ahead,
Yes.
because what I find is that most Palm Beach County Democrats will vote for a Republican before voting for a black Democrat. This is what I found. And when it comes to Sheriff Bradshaw, he registered as a Democrat in 2004 so he could win. So now he's going in PA, no party affiliation.
Right.
You, the Democrat, as a black man, as a Democrat, you should win this race.
You know,
You should win this race, but I'm telling you, this place scares me. Palm Beach County scares me when it comes to treating black candidates correctly.
you know, I would have in 2016 if we had this conversation. You know, I would say, you know, Manuel, you know, you have a point there. You know, I can agree with that. But when I look at this county and the makeup of this county now, you know, we have the first black mayor of Palm Beach County, something strong mayor. Although he's not the first black mayor, Miss Mack was the first female mayor of Palm Beach County, but she wasn't a strong mayor.
Right.
So now we have the first strong mayor of Palm Beach County, African American. We have the first police chief in Boynton Beach, Chief Gregory. You know, we have the police chief at the FAU down in Boca, and as well as Frank Allen, although he's not the first chief of West Palm. But you know, this county now has 4 black chiefs that we never had, and a black mayor, and then West Palm, the makeup of West Palm Commissioner Board are 3 African Americans. You know, and so and when you look at the city of when you look at Orlando, had its first black chief, Jerry Dimmons, and then
That's Orange County.
You know, and you had you got Sheriff Morris in Quincy, Florida, and you got Sheriff McNair in Leon County. You know, and now
So that means you have hope
yes, absolutely,
that this can change.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, hope is the last thing we lose.
Yeah.
When a Haitian or a Cuban decides to cross the Caribbean Sea to reach here, even though he's encircled by sharks,
Yes.
the last thing he loses is hope. So hope is what keeps us going, especially those of us of color, especially blacks
Absolutely.
and Hispanics. But what I want to say, you know, we can take Mac as the strong mayor now, but was not elected Palm Beach County-wide. For you, it's Palm Beach County-wide.
Right.
I want to see the Democratic Party come out for you. I want them to come out for you. They said the Democrats, they say they believe in equality, they say they will support whoever the Democrat is, just like they say in the presidential election, in the primary. We want them to come out for you.
Well, you know, in 2016, there was, there was folks in the Democratic Party at that top tier that was sharing and saying to other folks within the party and to not support and vote for me.
I remember that.
And of course, as large as Palm Beach County is, it's the 3rd largest county east of the Mississippi River. You know, folks still got that information back to me. So it's not
Right.
that large that the information didn't come back to me. And these are some people that came back and told me this, that I was surprised that they were sharing that with me because they had a more stronger relationship with these individuals. And that just let me know that they're not on that same
No.
wavelength, and they don't feel the same way
That's correct.
that some of the folks in the top tier of the party. You know, I would hope, and I hold nothing against those individuals. I still go to the meetings, you know, because I know that in large I have a lot of supporters in the
Right.
Democratic Party, and to be in those rooms when I'm there that support me. So I'm not going to alienate myself from them,
No,
because I
no.
know that there's a lot of people that support me. You know, I'm true to my values. You know, true to my values, and I just wish that other folks who run for office, they don't do this musical chairs where they jump from this party to this party to that party in hopes that they're going to win. So that tells you they're doing it for self,
Correct.
and not in the
Correct.
in the
Correct.
best interest of everyone.
Right.
You know, and now I know that I may get lose some supporters for this, but you know, we have to be honest
Sure.
about stuff. You know,
Correct.
And running for this office for 6 years, 6 long years, I'm the longest running candidate in the history of Palm Beach County officially for this office. So I've had an opportunity to meet a lot of Bradshaw supporters. A lot of his supporters that voted for him, I met in person, because I have the list of every voter here in Palm Beach County. And we've been making our way throughout Palm Beach County. We done made one full circle of Palm Beach County, from Jupiter to the Glades to Boca Raton, back to my base in North Palm Beach where my campaign headquarters is. And so now we're on our second round of Palm Beach County. So we went back to Jupiter, we went back to the Glades, and now we're in, we went to Boca, so now we're in Delray. We're going to be finishing up Delray on Monday. We're going to finish up 2 streets in Delray, and then we'll be moving to Boynton Beach, knocking on doors. And so we're just going to continue this effort up until Election Day. And what I find is that the voters are so appreciative
Right.
to actually meet a candidate, someone that takes time out of their schedule to come knock at their door and just say, hey, my name is Alex Freeman, I'm a retired police major, and I'm running for sheriff. Here's my card. If you have any questions about my candidacy, please give me a call. You know, just those few minutes, and what I try to do is I try to give them the card and leave so I can get to the next house. But a lot of them, they stop me and talk to me for about 10-15 minutes, and they say, listen, you know, I like Bradshaw, but it's time for a change. You know, and so we're finding that we have a lot of support in Palm Beach County, and I'm confident that we're going to win this time.
Okay. Well, Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
it is a pleasure
Yes.
always
Yes.
to sit down and talk to you.
Yes.
I have seen you on the campaign trail in the heat. You keep on walking. You keep doing what needs to be done. So right now, it is up to the Democrats
It is.
to rise up and say enough.
Yes, it is.
And we have a candidate. They have their candidates, and let Democrats step up.
That's right.
I
Absolutely.
thank you so much.
And we
Go
can
ahead.
do this. But if I can, let me just announce this and say this, that it's vitally important that everyone go out August the 5th of 2020. I'm sorry, August the 25th
Correct.
of 2020 to cast your vote. But prior to August the 25th, there's going to be 14 days of early voting. I ask that everyone take advantage of early voting so that you don't have to waste your time or be rushed on the last day during the primary to cast your vote. You know, if you do it early or mail your vote in early, you don't have to worry about it. And if you do that for me, you know, I'll be your next sheriff of Palm Beach County. And if anyone wants to speak to me directly, you can give me a call at 561-502-5870. That's 561-502-5870. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And again, my name is Emmanuel Morel. This has been the Emmanuel Morel Show. And as always, we love you and we love this country, and may God bless these United States of America.